All right, everybody. Episode number 2 of the Kennel Side Chat coming at you from the Total Dog Pet Resort headquarters. I'm Nick. If you haven't met me, I'm Justin's camera guy. You all know the dog boss. Oh. I think we need to address the elephant in the room here. Is there some new branding on you here?
100%, Nick. We're going live with the Dog Boss brand. As you can see, we got some new apparel. We got the new logo. This thing's gonna pop. Kind of the idea behind this brand is everybody knows me as the dog boss, but we want to help other people become their own dog boss, right? So one of the biggest things we do as a dog trainers is empower the dog owner, to be the best dog trainer that they can be. So we want them to become their own dog boss. And although that's my name, I feel like there's a lot more dog bosses out there. So I want to be able to help them. Some goals for 2021, which is not too far away, is I plan on writing a book, Dog Boss, and it's going to have a lot of great information in there. Some of my personal experiences as a dog trainer, and then also just some difficult cases that we've dealt with, and just be able to shed some light on rehabilitation and things like that. So there's that, and then eventually we want our own TV show. So we're trying to take over.
I love it. You heard it here first. The book. Any ideas what the title is going to be?
Nah, it's going to have the Dog Boss logo on it. I don't know if I want to share a title yet.
Got it. I love it. Well, I think what we should do is, being this, again, our second episode, I think we should give the viewers and the listeners kind of an overview of what Kennel Side Chat is, just kind of from an aerial perspective.
Yeah, so Kennel Side Chat, we did episode 1. That was before the pet resort opened, and it was a lot of answering questions about what was going to happen inside the facility, what it's going to look like. A lot of people have, just questions on how we operate inside the facility. How safe are we? How cleanliness is it going to be inside the facility? So we answered a lot of those questions, but the general idea of Kennel Side Chat is really to answer our viewers' questions. It could be anything. It could be about me. It could be about my trainers. It could be about the pet resort. It could be dog training questions in general. So we want to reach out to our customers, our clients, and get their feedback on what type of questions they have. We get a lot of the same questions, and we want to make sure that we have those answered for them all the time. But we also want the viewer to get to know who we are as a company, what upcoming events are happening inside the pet resort, what upcoming events we have going on, just as Total Dog as a whole.
I love it. And yes, as we continue this chat, we'll start collecting questions from the viewers and the listeners, and hopefully address that, and again broaden the reach of Total Dog. So at the time of recording this, it's been about 20 days since the ribbon cutting. What's changed? How you doing? What's going on, man? Are you getting any sleep at night?
No sleep, Nick. Not at all. We don't stop. But that's just how we are, entrepreneurial spirits, and we just keep on going. But we love what we do, and this place has exploded in 20 days. I think we have about 15 to 20 dogs here right now in daycare as we speak. We got some boarding with us. We got some in the suites. We got about 7 or 8 dogs getting groomed today. We have 10 board and trained dogs. This place has just boomed in such a short amount of time. It's insane. So we're super excited. There's obviously still learning occurring. It's a brand new part of our business. So there's some hurdles and just different things that we're learning every day. But those learning pieces that we've been doing are for the betterment of the company, the betterment of our clients' dogs, and just making this place as great as it can be.
I love it. This place is definitely operating in full force today. Every time I come up here, there's more dogs, more trainers, and it's cool to see the thing up and running today. Let's do a couple housekeeping things before we get off and running here. Being the fact that this is going to drop right before Thanksgiving, what are we looking like going into the holidays for hours of operation, both with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's?
Right. So at the Total Dog Pet Resort, we're going to be closed on the actual Thanksgiving. However, we're staffed 24 hours, 365. So what that means is those that are boarding with us over the holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas coming up, the actual doors will be closed to the public, but we will have somebody here on staff all day, all night, making sure the dogs are getting out, getting some playtime, getting their exercise, and being fed. So the dog's safety, and well-being is always number one. So we'll always have somebody here. As far as the training, the mobile training side will be closed on Thursday, the day of Thanksgiving, and Black Friday. And then training will pick back up on Saturday.
Got it. Man, the machine really never quits.
No, I can't.
I love it. Well, as we progress into this chat here, kind of as the machine continues to grow, I wanted to give people a little more insight, kind of what led up to this point, so they can kind of understand like the history of Total Dog, the history of Justin, and kind of all the contributing elements that have gone into this venture. Little side note, one of the things I absolutely love about Justin is you have to pry this information out of him. He's such a humble dude. That's one thing I love about you is I keep hearing stories from whether your wife or your trainers, all this other stuff, all the accolades you've accumulated over the years. And I love that I have to pry it out of you. You're a humble dude. I love that.
I gotta be.
So throughout your military career, you have had some experience building and renovating a training facility. I believe it was at Luke Air Force Base. Can you talk a little bit about what that looked like, and were you able to bring any of that experience there into the Total Dog Resort here?
Yeah, definitely. It was from 2008 to 2012. I was in charge of the kennel at Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, Arizona. And during that time, the kennel was not in the greatest shape. It could only house a handful of dogs. The backyard, their play area was not the greatest. It was kind of just dirt and dead grass. There was a lot of like mole holes, and it was pretty dangerous for the dogs and for the handlers.
How many dogs were you working with at the time?
8. We had 8 dogs there. So that was during when it was getting really busy and a little crazy and heated in Iraq and Afghanistan. And there's a pot of money called the GWAT Fund, which is the Global War on Terrorism funding. And that's extra money that's set aside just for, war and for supporting war. So we utilized that funding and tied it to, supporting the war in Afghanistan, because the dogs that we train obviously are searching for bombs in those countries. So we were able to kind of work that piece, and we renovated what was already there. It ended up being a $1.6 million renovation. So it doubled the space, added kennels, and it also was able to put AstroTurf in the entire back obedience yard, and then put sunshades over the entire thing. So it went from, an average kennel to state of the art. And 100% I stole stuff from that for this pet resort. You guys have probably seen the videos and pictures, but our backyard is a resemblance really of what that kennel looked like. The AstroTurf is exactly the same. I mean, the dogs are running around on stuff that, the NFL players are using. This stuff is not cheap, but it's great for the dogs. It's safe for the dogs. And then we do, before the summer hits, before we really start getting hot, we plan on putting those sunshades out here in the backyard as well. So
I was going to ask, Arizona's got a little more intensity, but not much with the heat there. They get in 120s or so.
Oh yeah,
that'd be nice. As I was going down this thought process, it kind of got me thinking about the life of a military dog. I don't know if this is an odd question, but what are some changes you do in your operations with the dog overseas to help it kind of feel somewhat normal and operate? Is there anything that you do differently in the training overseas once you're over there with the dog, or is it just, does he stay by your side the entire time?
Oh, a lot of it's always scenario-based training. And that's the same thing that we preach with our dog training clients, with Total Dog. The scenario is different, but it's always scenario-based training. What I mean by that is before a dog goes to Afghanistan, we put them in hot environments. We teach them how to sniff out bombs that are buried in the ground versus bombs that are in the trunk of somebody's car, right? So these are all scenarios that you have to think of when you're in charge of, keeping people safe. So prior to deploying to Iraq and Afghanistan, a lot of dogs would go to Yuma Proving Grounds in Arizona. It's a mock village. It looks just like Afghanistan. Billboards have Arabic on it, like everything. It looks like you just woke up and you're in Afghanistan, but it's in Yuma, Arizona. And that's where we sent a lot of dogs before they would go to Afghanistan. And that way we got the feel of it. The handlers got the feel of it. The dogs were trained in a similar environment. So that's that scenario-based training. And if you bring that back to what we do here, just with the normal pet world, is it's always scenario-based training, right? Dog is begging at the table. Dog barks when the doorbell goes off, right? Well, let's set that dog up in those same scenarios and let's work through it, and let's teach them how to be calm and polite when those things happen versus trying to fix them when they happen, when your family comes over, your guests come over. So that's what scenario-based training is very important in, any type of training of any animal, really.
You'd called it scenario-based training. I had written down exposure therapy. I guess it's in the similar genre there. And so you already kind of answered how that directly correlates into your training here with the dogs. It's just same thing, just different modalities of
That's it.
Exposing them incrementally. Overseas, how do you help dogs de-stress? 'Cause I got to imagine they get stressed out just like humans. Is there anything you guys did overseas to help the dog kind of bring it back down to a ground level?
Yeah, I mean, dogs they're similar, but they're different. It's kind of weird. Our brains work a lot different than a dog's brain works. We know where we're at. We miss our family. We know danger. We can sense fear. We can sense, all those different things. Dogs can sense certain things, but they don't think like, man, I miss my family back home. Man, I wish I was back at my kennel back in the States. So their stress is different. Their stress is really off of the amount of work they do, and if they're put in environments or in scenarios that they were never exposed to before. So the best way to help them during that is the prior training, like we talked about just a minute ago with the exposure training. The more you can expose them to, the less stress they'll be when they're there. Some of the things that work really well, and this doesn't just help the dog, but it also helps everybody that's downrange with you, is allowing the dog to kind of end up just being like a taste of home, right, for the other soldiers, the other airmen. So my dog Dingo, he's very social. He would attack on command, but if I said it was okay for you to pet him, he would be completely fine. And that's how a lot of the military working dogs are now. So just allowing the dog, in my case it was Dingo, to be able to walk around, the tent or the village, and just get some love, get some pets from some of the soldiers, some of the airmen. That not only helps the dog, but it also helps the soldiers who are missing their family, that might be missing their dog back at home. So it kind of goes both ways.
I believe we have a YouTube video about the importance of kennel training and how that kind of provides a home and a shelter. Is that something you guys utilize overseas too? Do they have kennels?
Yeah, so we have kennels. So if, depending on where they're at, there might be a big kennel facility. But if you're in more of the, just like the villages and things like that I was, it was always just a travel kennel, or sometimes they would just sleep with us. I mean, I have pictures on my Facebook of me and Dingo, sleeping in just a normal tent, in a village on a couple missions. So it really just depends.
Cool. We'll be sure to link that YouTube video down below about how kennel training can improve your relationship with your dog. I believe that was the title of it.
Yep.
Very informative, though, that one of the things that stood out with me was the kennel is supposed to be a place of comfort, not punishment for the dog. And it's
definitely
valuable video. One of your many hit YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Well, let's look ahead into Christmas time here. So I know a lot of people are going to be probably getting dogs for Christmas, puppies for Christmas, hopefully myself included.
Okay, I like it.
And I'm going to go out on a limb out here. I'm going to call out my Seattle people. I think Seattle is the leader of untrained dogs.
Okay.
I think it's a nice accessory. I'm going to call you guys out really, because I don't ever remember being in any other part of the country where you open the door and the dog's up on you, or you got owners that don't pick up their poop in the yard. It just, I'm going to put it on I think Seattle's the leader for that. The importance of training is not just having an obedient dog, but it has to do with the life that the dog lives as far as like stress and anxiety. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what the dog goes through when it either doesn't have training or is getting mixed signals on training? What's that dog's life look like when he's getting mixed signals like that, or no signals? Yeah,
dogs are they're best if they're followers. So if they're not getting the proper training, if they're not being led by, their owner, which would be considered the pack leader, they always feel like they have to lead. And when the dog leads, a lot of times they're making the wrong choices. When they're making the wrong choices, then they are stressed. There's a lot of anxiety. And those things are hard to fix as the dog gets older. Puppies, as young as really 8 weeks old, you can start training them then and start molding them. That way they can lead a less stressful life. They can be better off. And another thing too is like, their health, their well-being, all those things. Those are things that you can start at 8 weeks old. And as that dog gets older, they're gonna be the best companion that they can be. You know, a lot of people get puppies and they wait until it becomes a problem, right? Till they hire a professional.
Then they're a bad dog, labeled as a bad dog.
Right. And then it's not training at that point. It's more rehabilitation, which is different. And you can train a puppy and you can train it its whole life, and it's going to be extremely enjoyable, and it's going to be fun for the dog. It's going to be fun for the owner. Rehabilitation, like aggression rehabilitation and those type of things, those are hard. Those are hard cases. We enjoy them and we're good at them, but those are hard cases for the dog, and they're hard for the owner, and they cost a lot of money because there's risk involved. There's risk that the trainer's going to get bit. There's a risk that the dog's going to have some sort of, issues, and it's always just better just to start the training as soon as possible, and then set that dog up for ultimate success.
Yeah, I think the feedback I'd gotten from a few people within my circle back in Seattle was that they didn't want to impose their will on the dog. They kind of wanted the dog live happy and be its own element. But yeah, the happiest dogs I've seen are the ones that you've trained, that know their boundaries, that have that structure and routines. That's good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they definitely need structure, boundaries, routine. They need to be held accountable. It's really no different than raising a young child. I always say that. I'm sure everybody wants to spoil their children, but if you spoil them, most likely they're not going to be respectful, right? So it's the same thing with dogs, especially puppies.
I love that. For the people looking into getting a puppy or a dog for Christmas, do you have a recommendation? Let's kind of break it into two categories. Do you have a recommendation for someone who might be living in an apartment versus someone who has a legitimate backyard to work with?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a couple pieces to this. For one, if you live in an apartment, just think about the size. That's important, right? If you get a Great Dane and you have it in a tiny apartment, most likely your apartment's going to get destroyed, or that dog's just not going to have enough room to move around. Certain dogs need a backyard. Certain dog needs lots of exercise. Now, I'm not saying that a Great Dane can't survive in an apartment. They can, as long as you're giving it plenty of exercise and you're training it, but it's not the optimal dog for that situation. Maybe look at something smaller that might not need as much exercise. And then if you have a house with plenty of space, really the sky's the limit there. It really comes down to how much time and effort you can put into it regardless. And then the other piece that I would talk about in this situation would be, like breeder versus a rescue. And that's really a preference, right? There's pros and cons. There's millions of dogs out there up for adoption. There's millions of great dogs out there that you can get for an adoption fee of less than $300, right? And I really like that. I really like that option because you're saving a dog. But there's also people who would really like just to get a purebred puppy at 8 weeks old, bring it in the house and really start fresh. So it's really preference. There's some people out there like they're super pro, just adopt and never go to a breeder. There's vice versa. I don't get in between that. All I care about is that dog gets a good home and that it's being trained properly, and I'm happy.
I love that. Well, let's shift gears just a little bit. Actually, last question on this topic here before we move on. So for those that are just getting a new puppy or a dog this Christmas, I know we have a catalog of YouTube videos. Where should someone start when they first bring that dog home?
Yeah, I would head straight to our YouTube. There's a video. I don't know the title right off the top of my head, but essentially it's how to be prepared for bringing your dog home, bringing your puppy home. And that would be the best one to start with. And then from there, just follow the list of all the puppy videos we have. Potty training, kennel training, all those would be good. Is
it a time frame you need to wait before you potty train, much like a human, or can you start potty training from day one?
Oh no, you want to start potty training, kennel training as soon as that dog comes home.
I love it. We'll be sure to link all those videos down below. So with your growing YouTube videos, I understand prior to this, you did have some experience on camera. Can you tell us a little bit more about the bodybuilding infomercial?
Yeah, hopefully nobody can ever find that one. There's some swears in that one, but when me and Matt Template were deployed in Afghanistan together, Fob Wilson, that was a pretty heated time there. That's when there's a lot of soldiers, airmen getting blown up by roadside bombs and things like that. But our outlet, during those stressful times was really working out, and the gyms on these little FOBs, which stands for forward operating bases. No bigger than, probably your backyard. It's not much. Sandbags, couple kettlebells, things like that. But we got it in. That's how we de-stressed. But heavy into protein, creatine, all that stuff during the time. But this was 2010, and they had a new shaker cup that was out in the market through bodybuilding.com.
Not the shake weight, but a shaker cup.
Shaker cup.
Okay.
It was called the Cyclone, and you put your water or your milk in, then you put your protein in, and it had a button, and it would spin and circulate the powder.
Admittedly, I had one of those.
Right. The thing was amazing. Well, we were so pumped up after a workout that Matt videotaped me with this thing. I said, look at this thing. There was some swears in there. But ultimately, we were just so pumped about that shaker cup. We needed to let the world know, and that was probably my first ever YouTube video in 2010. Not dog related, not sponsored by Dog Boss. I wouldn't show it to my kids just because there's some swears in there, but it's good. Matt will save that thing forever. We always will laugh at that video.
You had to know there was something coming back your direction after we did the trainer spotlight with Matt. Town play.
Yeah, definitely.
So he gave me some ammunition, and I was happy to find out that in talking to him, you and I actually shared a nickname, or more or less. I went by Nick Lovin for a long time, and I understand he went by Mick Lovin.
Mick Lovin, yep. Yeah, that was that movie was popular back then, and we used to call each other different movie names. So that's definitely one.
Oh, good stuff. Well, before we get into the closing deal here, I want to talk a little bit about. I understand we're currently running a sale. On what does that encompass right now?
Yeah, so we got some grand opening specials, and they're gonna transition here. I don't know if it'd be when this video shoots or not, so I don't want to get too far into it. But we had a grand opening sale, which was a big discount off of all of our training packages. That's going to end here probably soon, and then we're going to kick off another one, which essentially will be a Black Friday sale. So I'd recommend everybody that's interested to call and get the details once they come out. I don't want to speak too soon, and we still got to dial in some marketing pieces on that.
A lot of moving parts right now, because I know you guys are building a new web page. So the best 100%. Thing is to call.
Yep, call, and we'll be able to have all the details. We do have our new website being designed right now. Where everybody's going now, the totaldogvegas.com is a landing page, but we're going to have about a 10 to 15 page brand new website, lots of video content in there. It's going to be awesome. To talk about all of our services, the pet resort that is scheduled to launch December 1st, and it's going to be an awesome addition to what we offer.
Outstanding. Heck of a way to wrap out the year. As we get into the closing, I just want to say how proud I am of you and your family. And
thank you.
It's been amazing to see a business grow during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
we love it. And one more thing I want to add is don't forget about Santa Paws. Right, we got Santa,
yes.
We got photos with Santa here at the Total Dog Pet Resort. It's going to be $10 per family. It will come with a digital print as well as an actual printed photo. All the money that we raise for that is going to go to Snarl, which is the Southern Nevada Animal Rescue League, and that's our partner rescue that we do a lot of rehabilitation for. That's where Paco came from. Loki, Stella, those are all really hard cases that we trained and got adopted. And actually, Loki, he just got adopted last week, so we're super excited that he found a forever home.
Bummed to see him go, but I know he went to a good home.
Yeah, everybody shed a couple tears on that one just because he was such a special dog. We do have another one of their dogs. His name is Timberjack. He's another hard case. He's a 28-day rehabilitation case. So hopefully by the time we do the next Kennel Side Chat episode 3, we'll be able to get some updates on him.
Hopefully we see him at one of the out and abouts or something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, as we close out here, I kind of wanted to do some rapid fire questions with you, just so people can kind of continue to get to know the Dog Boss and understand a little bit more about what goes on inside your head here. So,
all right,
rapid fire, as quick as answers as you can. First thing that comes to mind. We're going to hit about 10 of them here.
All right, here we go.
Favorite junk food?
Reese's.
How many states have you lived in?
Too many to count.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Quick answer on that. Good man. What is your spirit animal?
Dog.
Any particular breed?
Malinois.
Malinois, okay.
Yeah.
Does Melissa snore? Yes or no?
No.
Wow. Quick one. Favorite holiday?
Oof, man, that's tough. I know it's supposed to be quick, but that's a tough one. I'm a big fan of the fourth quarter of the year. I go all out for Halloween. We decorate like crazy. I love Thanksgiving because it brings family together, and Christmas, obviously, that's a favorite just because of the religious resemblance, as well as just seeing the smile on my kid's face. So that one took longer, but go ahead, go with the next one. Fourth quarter, that's my favorite holiday.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I'm 4th of July personally.
Okay.
Hot dogs and fireworks. Do all dogs go to heaven?
Yes.
Quick answer. Favorite child? Actually, don't answer that. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Man, I'm not a good movie guy at all.
First one that comes to mind.
Man, I'm horrible at movies. It's got to be
Air Bud?
No. Man, I'm going to say Elf right now. It's just in my mind.
Can't go
it's the
wrong.
holidays. He's such a great actor.
Can't
so,
go wrong
yep.
with that. Strangest thing you've ever eaten?
I don't know. I was in Korea for a year. I don't know. Could have been cat, could have been dog. I don't know. I don't want to say it because I'm the dog boss, but it could have been. I don't know. I didn't order it, but I might have eaten it.
I'll have Jane whip up some fine Korean cuisine for you one night.
I like that. I like bulgogi. That's delicious.
Funniest name for a dog you've ever heard?
Oof, man.
I've had buddies growing up that had dogs named
They're
like
just
Bill.
weird. Yeah, like the ones that use an actual name, like, like a human name. Those are usually pretty funny. But we've had some weird ones like, Sir Mix-a-Lot and just different stuff like that. We did have what was it? I think we've had a Biggie. It's just people. Some people go, they just pick different things they like: cars, rappers, things like that. So, and then always just the human names always make me laugh. I like them.
I love it. Last two, rapid fire, quick as you can. Do you think Isaiah has too many shoes?
Hell no.
Last question: have you ever cheated at golf?
No, I just suck at golf.
Honest man, I can't answer the same on that one. Well, this has been another episode of Kennel Side Chat. I just wanted to hit you with some different stuff so people can kind of get to know you and a little more about your past and anything else you want to add in closing here.
No, I appreciate you, Nick. Episode 2 in the books. Can't wait to get this out. I'll be on the lookout for the new Dog Boss apparel and swag out there. Please stop in to the Total Dog Pet Resort. For those of you that don't know, we offer a free half day of daycare right off the bat. And we're open 7 days a week, grooming, boarding, daycare, and training. So appreciate you guys, and don't forget to train hard.
Love it.